Good to see you all. If you don't know me, I'm Lori Vinicor. I'm the president of the Alliance of Delray. Great to see so many people here today. We have a lot of distinguished guests and a few really important speakers too today. So please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we're going to have Vice President John Gentithis just announce our special guests that are here today who will not be speaking. And the people who are speaking, I'm going to announce them and they'll be coming up here.
Morning, everyone. Get my glasses. Okay, our guests today, we start with Victoria Green, Community Engagement Ambassador, Palm Beach County Tax Collector's Office. Ed Soul, Aide to Mayor Maria Sachs, District 5. Kathy Bernstein, Clerk, Palm Beach County. Nicole Carson, Supervisor of Elections Office. Leslie Schreiber, Sheriff Bradshaw's Office. Howie Zimmerman, Palm Beach County Appraiser's Office. Roger Mahan, Palm Beach County Appraiser's Office. Evelyn Duplessis, Aide to State Senator Lori Berman. Miles Osborne, Lake Worth Drainage District. Christian Wright, Commissioner Woodward's office. Joe DeLusa, Commissioner Woodward's office. Tony Keeler, Firefighters, Paramedics of Palm Beach County. Amy Chamberlain, Representative Kelly Skidmore's office. Beth Mossenberg-Backer, Palm Beach County. Latasha Wallace, Palm Beach County. Major Chris King of the PBSO. Casey Denny, Palm Beach County Legal Affairs. Let's give them all a big round of applause.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and we have, okay, what is that? Okay. Okay, and right now we'll be hearing from our updates from PBSO, from Fire Rescue. We have Senator Berman here, we've got Representative Silvers, and we've got the chair of the school board, Karen Brill, so we'll be hearing from all of them. Please help me welcome Sergeant Mike Bryant from the PBSO district to give us an update. Captain Sant and Lieutenant Wink are at a seminar. Here you go.
Good morning, everyone. Sergeant Mike Bryant, PBSO. It's a pleasure to be here today and meet all of you. I'm here on behalf of Captain Sant, Lieutenant Wink in District 4, and just to update you on the status of the area and some of the trends that we're seeing. Obviously, traffic crashes, speeding, and things of that nature. You can't be too careful. That's nothing new here for all of you. You've dealt with it and seen it, but just something to pay attention to. The big problem we're seeing right now is online phone scams and credit card scams. I can tell you now, you're probably know somebody or you've had it dealt with yourself. If you get a phone call, no law enforcement agency or government entity is going to contact you by telephone and tell you to send them money, credit cards, Google gift cards, anything like that, or computer companies such as Apple, Microsoft, whatever. It's a little inconvenient, but you can't be too careful. There's various services out there you can contact to resolve computer issues. Don't give out personal information over the phone, because once it's out there, it's a nightmare to deal with, and you have a whole host of other problems. And we have various programs. Should you be interested in that, we can speak on further details to that to educate you and present to the various communities. Should you be interested, and you can contact us. Yes, sir.
We had you guys come to the Lexington Club, and everybody thought it was a great seminar on scams.
Yes, sir. And obviously technology changes so fast, you can never really get ahead of it. You can only adapt, and thank you for that. And again, I'll be here for a little bit, so if you have any questions, get with me or someone in uniform and we'll set something up for you. And thank you for your time. Other than those issues, that's really all we have to worry about right here in District 4 Delray. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you for that update. Chief Bill Stansberry from Palm Beach County Fire Rescue.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here today. I just wanted to give you some updates about the area fire stations. Station 45, which is just north of Kings Point there, was the busiest fire station last month. They ran almost 20 calls a day, and they'll continue being the busiest throughout the year. They're always the busiest in the county, so we're here to help you. And so Battalion 4 in general, which is the whole area, all of Western Delray, Western Boynton, that was the busiest battalion out of all of Palm Beach County. Our area ran over 1,000 more calls than the next closest battalion. So we're busy, we're ready, we're prepared, and we're trained to help you all out whenever you need us. I was making the rounds in the back, and one of the stands back there, the tax collector, they had a hurricane guide, which reminded me that June 1st starts hurricane season. So it's always good to prepare before, because once you go June 1st or a hurricane is on the horizon, everyone's at the stores getting the water and the supplies. So it's always good to go to the store before hurricane season starts, buy some extra water, batteries, food that you can keep in the pantry just in case you lose power, that you can make quickly and not have to worry about beating all the lines in the stores to get everything. And I think that is about it, but stay safe, and I'll see you next month.
Great, thank you so much. And that's why our program today is about water and control of it. A few announcements before we hear from our elected officials. The breakfast is June 21st at a local country club, and of course all of our delegates, presidents, alternates are all invited. We'll have distinguished guests there as well. Invitations are going to be sent out at the end of the week. But usually it's like the first Friday of June, but it's going to be the third Friday of June because of availability, June 21st. An update about, our mature driver course. I already have people signing up for that. It's in our newsletter that we advertise. We're telling people, sign up for the mature driver course for your community. We come once a month to all different communities and present that course. July 3rd, we are having a meeting July 3rd right here. It's super important, law and order. Meet the candidates for law and order. We're going to have the candidates for state attorney, for public defender, and for the judge, group 2. And you'll be able to hear from them all, speak from them all. Pick up your 4th of July goodie bag and your hat. Or this, or the Uncle Sam hat. We'll have all sorts of goodies for you. So what good is sitting alone in your room? Come here, okay? That'll be July 3rd, the day before July 4th. So you'll get your goodie bag filled with all sorts of things for July 4th. Okay. One thing about the Agricultural Reserve, the reason why we don't have the commissioners here today, but we have a few assistants and aides from the commissioner's office, they're all there with the comprehensive plan up in the Board of County Commissioners. You read in here about the Agricultural Reserve. There's a huge project that they want to build at the corner of Atlantic and the Turnpike. And the discussion does have to take place, but we have big concerns, and our neighboring communities to that development, proposed development, do have major concerns. So we actually had to object to the way it is now, but they are postponing it till August. So there will be more discussions, because we said we have actually 4 issues. Too much density, we have to decrease the number of units. Too much intensity, decrease the amount of square footage of commercial. We have to pay attention to having a little more preserve for it. And also, the most important thing is to have development commensurate with the expansion of Atlantic Avenue. We can't be going through on 2 lanes, not with another development like that happening. But we'll have the discussion. What can those people build there if they don't build this project? That's a little large right now. Well, there could be, because of commerce allowed now on Atlantic Avenue and essential housing, on this 60+ acres, there could be 1 million square foot, nearly 1,950,000 square feet of commerce, or there could be 500 homes with essential housing. So the discussion is still open, and we got several months before it's even would possibly be initiated. And after it's initiated, it goes through another 4 or 5 public meetings before it's accepted. And also, there's a lot, you'll be seeing updates every month. We look at this very closely. I do live in the Agricultural Reserve. Everybody knows I am a farmer in the Agricultural Reserve, and I came out here today, and you know, there was quite a bit of traffic, so I understand that. Let's hear from Senator Berman.
Yes.
It's good to see you with an update.
Good morning, Delray Alliance.
Hello there. Morning.
So happy to be here with you. I think this is my first time back since we ended session in the beginning of March. I think I wasn't able to make the last meeting. We had a much better session. We didn't do as many divisive things. Because we had, the chief executive was a little bit preoccupied in Iowa and other places. So it worked out a lot better for us. We had a $117 billion budget, a lot of good projects for Palm Beach County. Happy to report I brought back $17 million to Palm Beach County. So really proud of that. And I did want to tell you that we did a really good bill for healthcare. We're trying to promote more healthcare providers in Florida because we know 1,000 people are moving here, and we have an aging population. So that was a really excellent bill that we passed this year. And I always like to tell you that we do actually do some things that are not as serious. And one of the really cool things we did this year was we honored our state troubadour, and we renamed A1A from Jacksonville to Key West, and it's now going to be Jimmy Buffett Memorial Highway. But on a more serious note, I just want to end that today is a really sad day in the state of Florida, because as of 12 o'clock last night, the 6-week abortion ban went into effect. And as a result of that, it's basically a virtual abortion ban in the state, because most women don't know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. So it's very disturbing, and that was from last year, not this year. But the good news is that we have a ballot petition and to let the people of the state of Florida decide. No matter how you feel about abortion, I think you should recognize that it's a very personal choice for a woman and her doctor, and not her legislators. So you'll be able to have the chance in November. I'm urging people to vote yes on Amendment 4 and let the voices of the people be heard. So happy to be here with all of you today, and looking forward to being here in the future. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming, Senator Berman. And we have State Representative David Silvers. Please, it's good that you came today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me go out of turn. I appreciate it. I'm State Representative David Silvers. My district is Lantana up to West Palm Beach. And as the Senator mentioned, Amendment 4 is extremely important, not just to me personally, but also to all women in our state. I'm a father of a 2-year-old girl, and I became a father 2 years ago, and it was the greatest moment of my life. But to know that we have an opportunity to really change our state and move our state forward in passing Amendment 4 means so much. So please hope you do vote for Amendment 4. This is my 8th and final year in the House of Representatives, and in these past 8 years, I've been working with Senator Berman. We worked together in the House together. We've run appropriations together in the Senate. Well, she's been in the Senate. This past year, I was able to get $15 million, but I can't say I. It's a team effort. You work together with your senator. So, Senator Berman, thank you so much for all those years together. I appreciate all the fine work together with you. And I have to run. I appreciate it. I'm sorry for being out of turn, but thank you so much for having me. And have a great day. Thank you.
You're not out of turn, it's okay. We have our senator, and then our representatives, and then our school board, and all. That's the way we usually do it. Even though everybody is equally important. We have State Representative also, Kelly Skidmore.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Minikor. Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to be back home. seeing all of you on a regular basis. We're a little bit on the circuit now where we get to see candidates at all these events and get to know a lot of you. You may know me, I'm State Representative Kelly Skidmore. I represent District 92, which is Western, Boca Raton, Delray Beach, and Boynton Beach. We did have a very good session. I want to tell you briefly about some of the legislation that we passed. We had a bill that created the Office of the Blue Economy. You may have heard me talk about this. This is the economic health of our ocean resources and making sure that we are taking advantage of them in all of the best ways and creating the economy that is essential to Florida. We also passed legislation on sickle cell research and treatment. Sickle cell is a debilitating chronic pain disease that can lead to death. It impacts mostly African Americans, and there has been very little research done and very little treatments available. We were able to pass legislation to create centers of excellence around the state and appropriate $10 million in recurring revenue for a grant program. We also created a license plate, 2 license plates, I know, don't groan, more specialty license plates. One goes toward education on recycling, and the other is a Boating Capital of the World license plate that goes toward maritime workforce training. So again, all about the economy, workforce, and making sure that people are healthy. So it's been a pleasure to be your state representative. I am running for re-election. I hope to see you again. My aides are here. Dr. Gwen Gonzalez in the back over there, Amy Chamberlain in the back over here. They are there for you 24 hours a day on Atlantic Avenue. Not 24 hours a day, I'm kidding. They are there for you full time though. And if you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to all of us. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you for attending and giving us the update. Oh, our school board chair. We have the chair here of the school board, Karen Brill. Great to see you.
Thank you, Dr. Vinacore. So greetings from the school board of Palm Beach County, where we are educating the future leaders of this country. So I'm going to start off today by saying that I blinked my eyes and it's time for graduations. I can't believe it. So for those of you that have friends, family, grandchildren who are graduating, you'll have the best seat in the house because you can watch the graduations on Comcast channels 234 and 235, UVerse channel 99, or going onto our website and looking at the YouTube link where you can go back and replay it. So you definitely have the opportunity to watch the children walk across the stage. Now, I do want to address something. People are calling me and saying, with everything happening on college campuses, what's happening in your schools? Anything going on? Well, I will tell you that the School District of Palm Beach County has no tolerance for racism, anti-Semitism, or bullying. That's it. We're very strict about it. Sometimes the parents aren't too happy with us, but we have to make sure our students learn to respect each other and respect the values of other people. And you may recall a few years ago that we removed and fired that principal that would not enforce Holocaust education because he said some people don't believe the Holocaust happened. So just know we are doing everything we can in Palm Beach County to make sure the children understand. And you may have also heard about what happened at Suncoast Community High School when a trespasser went onto the campus. Well, we have a fabulous partnership with our sheriff's office, with our municipal police, and our own school police. And that trespasser went after one of the officers, and there was an incident. We kept the schools safe. Every student was safe. We had code red and code yellow at the nearby schools, but what the message was, and parents had been thanking us, is that we will not allow anyone to come intrude on our campuses, and we are going to keep our children and staff as safe as possible. So that's it for me. I want to say I will see you next meeting, and greetings once again in closing from the school district that has not banned one book. Thank you.
Thank you. School board chair Karen Brill. We have our 2-minute commercial now Thank you so much. Beck Dyer will come up here to just say a couple words about Compassionate Senior Guidance, the sponsor of our breakfast this morning. Then we'll get right into our speakers.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me this morning. So my name is Becky Dieter, and I'm a senior living advisor and owner of a company called Compassionate Senior Guidance. And I provide a service that most people don't even know exists. I help people find senior living. So like a realtor, except for senior living, specifically independent living, assisted living, and memory care. So I help families and seniors navigate all the communities that are out there. I'm sure you've seen all the new ones that are out there now. Help educate, help them find the right place. Also provide a buffer so that, I don't know if you've ever been into any of those places, but as soon as you go in, they take your name and then they start calling and calling and calling. Well, instead of calling you, they call me and they bug me. So I can kind of provide that buffer for you too. I set up tours, I go on tours with the family, and connect them with other resources that they may need. The best part about the service is that it's free. I get paid by the communities if and when I place someone, so there's no upcharge, there's no charge to the families at all. Other thing I try to do is educate, because I've talked to a couple folks here today. One of the biggest misnomers out there is that Medicare will pay for assisted living, memory care, or AIDS long-term care. That is not true. There are also limits to Medicaid. So I help people with that and to navigate all of that. So a couple of other things that I provide is, one, I come out and I will provide presentations about senior living, talk about costs, how do you pay for it, and talk through that process and what it can look like. So if any of your communities are interested in having me come out and speak, I'd be more than happy to do that. Additionally, I talked to a couple ladies that are going to put my services in their newsletter and on their TV channel, because there they are. Thank you, ladies. And that's a great idea, just again, because people don't even know the service exists and can really be helpful to families to help navigate everything. Especially here in Florida, we're a little unique in that we're dealing with a lot of families that are out of state. So adult children who are working, still raising families and trying to help mom and dad, I can be a great resource for them. So I'll be in the back afterwards if you have any questions. You've got some materials. Feel free to grab more on the way out. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your sponsorship. We have two wonderful speakers today. You can come up here. Kathy's going to work on opening that up for us. Tommy Stroud, Executive Director of Lake Worth Drainage District, and we've got Kristen Bernston from the Deputy Director of Palm Beach County Water Utilities Department. Both excellent presentations, very important. It's all about water, and we have a lot of water here. So Tommy Stroud will be speaking first, and please help me welcome him. He's Executive Director, and he's been doing a great job for several years now. We've known a lot of different directors, and he's one of the best. He really gets us out of trouble, right? when we get into trouble with our water and our weirs and all of that. So please help me welcome Tommy Stroud.
Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. It's great to be here. It's an honor to talk to you this morning at the onset of the hurricane season. Everybody gets interested in rainfall at that point, but some of the things I'm going to show you is that we can have serious rain events even outside of the hurricane season. May not be associated with hurricanes at all. So let me get this started. Great. Okay. There we go. Again, I'm Tommy Stroud, the Executive Director of the Lake Worth Drainage District. The Lake Worth Drainage District was created by the Florida Legislature in 1915. It was designed, the drainage system that you see today, the canals, some of the basic water control structures, were designed by an engineer that came from Colorado. He worked for a mining company. And the intention was to drain the swamps of the Everglades to create a place for agriculture because of the unique climate that we have in South Florida. It was obviously an area of land that was just marshes and swamps. Land is low, and of course seasonal rainfall can be intense, and so we've dealt with that for probably over 100 years. But developers also potential for residential development. So the plan of reclamation was established, approved by the Florida legislature, and ditches were dug, and agriculture came into South Florida in the 1920s, 1930s, into the 1940s. I'm going to take just a minute and kind of explain to you the evolution that the landscape has gone through in the last 100 years. It's best to do that from the air, when you can look down at the landscape and see the differences. The first aerial photograph that we were able to find that kind of gives you a sense of what the land looked like down here in southeastern Palm Beach County was in 1940, when the U.S. Navy flew a series of photography missions to take photographs of South Florida in anticipation of having to use that in World War II. And it's not a very good photograph, apologize for that. You'll see these dark splotches. Those are wet areas. The little dark spots are ponds. The light areas are just pine, flatwoods, sawgrass, palmetto, and pines. And it's hard to see, but you'll see these little lines kind of etched on the landscape. Those were the first canals that were constructed to drain the Everglades intentionally to provide a suitable landscape for agriculture. And that was in 1940, but remember we were created in 1915 and a lot of work was done, but it still was a natural wetland area. By 1965, the district was pretty much occupied by agriculture. And you can see here in the same area, it's like section 16 outlined in yellow there, is this area here where you see farm fields. Right along the middle of it, from left to right, is one of our Lake Worth Drainage District canals. And the farms did their interior drainage systems, and they pumped water into our canals, and we sent the water out to Tide. And that happened, between 1940 and 1965. But by 1970s, you start to see a change in the landscape. And at the top part of that photograph, you can see some residential homes. But in the lower right part of the photograph, you see the farms disappeared and there started to be some lakes constructed. And through the 70s and the 80s and 90s, those lakes supported communities like we all live in today. But it was interspersed with a lot of agriculture. Today, it's pretty much all urban, except for the area that Lori mentioned earlier, the Ag Reserve, that still has farming preserved in that. And what you see in this landscape, and it's important because I'm going to talk about it in a couple of spots here, these dark areas, just like the earlier photograph, those dark areas are ponds. Those are lakes that are in your communities. And a lot of people move to these communities and they see these lakes and they're beautiful and they're an amenity and we love to be around them. But their function is for stormwater. And so that's an important point that I want you to keep in mind as we go through this. So, from 1915 to today, the Everglades was converted from a natural wetland to a highly populated urban environment in less than a century. Another big change is when the federal government passed the Clean Water Act in the early 1970s. And that act was focused on cleaning water up, sanitary sewer particularly, but it also included stormwater. And so it required mechanisms be installed to clean up water and to manage flooding. And so it affected the way the communities were designed. Those lakes that I showed you in that previous photograph, those stormwater ponds, were the outcome of the Clean Water Act. So the development standards for drainage systems are regulated by the federal government and the state and entities like us, Lake Worth Drainage District, to ensure flood protection and water quality by retaining water on site. These ponds are like shock absorbers. When the rain comes, it hits your roofs, it hits the paved surfaces. It can't soak down in the ground the way it could in a natural condition. So that water is shed off relatively quickly. If it came into our canals directly, it would overwhelm canals. They couldn't handle it and we would flood. But it's directed instead to your pond system. So when it rains and you see your ponds coming up, they're doing their job. They're being that shock absorber to hold that pulse of water during and immediately after a rainfall. Now another component of this is that when the ponds are full, the engineers and the requirements that they design based on require that the water be stored in a secondary location, which is your streets and your front and backyards. The goal of it is to avoid the water getting in your homes and businesses. So in other words, the first place for the water to go is in those stormwater ponds. If the rain exceeds the capacity of those ponds, then it moves into the streets. And only as a last resort is it ever get high enough, and it's very, very rare that it gets high enough to get into a home or a business. And like most things in government, one entity doesn't manage all of this. Our flood control system is a tiered system, and it's not too different from our highway transportation system that we're all familiar with. You have I-95, which was constructed by the federal government, but it's managed by the Florida Department of Transportation. So there's a state-federal cooperation that manages those interstate highway systems. But connected to those systems are secondary roads that are managed by cities and counties, the second tier of governmental entities. And then the streets in your communities are managed and maintained by your homeowners associations. So that level of operation happens exactly the same way in the drainage system. I can point to this, maybe. Okay. Anyway, the main canal you have in the middle of that photograph is South Florida Water Management District's canal. Again, constructed by the Corps of Engineers, managed by the Water Management District. You'll see horizontally on there is a canal, that's the Lake Worth Drainage District canal. So our water is discharged into their water, they take it and move it into the ocean. But the drainage from the communities, first, as I mentioned, goes into those ponds, goes into the stormwater system, is detained there temporarily, and then is discharged into our canal. So we're handing off the water. You put it in your stormwater canal, then we take it from you into our canal, then we take it and we give it to South Florida, they discharge it tied. All of those components have to be working together in order to avoid flood impact. So there's the primary system, as I mentioned, South Florida Water Management District. There are 5 water management districts in the state. South Florida covers 16 counties from Orlando to the Keys, has a population of about 8.7 million residences, 2,000 miles of canals, over 600 water control structures. They have a control center here in West Palm Beach that monitors and opens and closes gates, turns pumps on remotely for that huge area. And they coordinate with entities like us, the Lake Worth Drainage District, to deal with that handoff of excess stormwater that I mentioned previously. The Lake Worth Drainage District, we're that second tier, as I mentioned. We're a single-purpose special district created by the legislature for the purpose of flood control and water supply. We have 500 miles of canals and about 20 major water control structures. We have about 800,000 residents, which is roughly about half the population of Palm Beach County resides within the Lake Worth Drainage District. And we coordinate our water control releases or pumping operations. We have an automated system that we can do it remotely with computers. As little as 10 years ago, it was a completely manual operation. People in pickup trucks rode out, took water level readings, and then they came back into town and went to a water control structure and pressed a button and opened the gate. From the gates to go from fully closed to fully open, it could take 4 hours for that operation to occur. And that assumed there was no flooded streets or no traffic jams or things that got in the way. With our automated system, we can do that same operation in 10 minutes. So we've had a dramatic improvement in our response. It certainly helps us manage flood better, but it also helps us conserve water. So that's been an important improvement to the system. We work with the communities, and I'm going to explain a little bit about that later. Every community has a structure that has two functions. There's a fixed water control structure that allows water to spill out when your lakes get to a certain level, and they are not operated. They work 24 hours a day. If it's raining and you see your lakes go up, your first inclination is, oh no, something's wrong. The structure's not working, water's not leaving our community. Well, if you take care of it and you keep it clean, that structure's working and it's providing you flood protection level of service. In addition to that structure, and the Lake Worth Drainage District is the only district in the state that allows this, we allow your communities to have operable water control structures, which means that one stays closed while the other one's working. So what's the purpose of that? A lot of people misinterpret it and think that it's a second structure, so I can have two going during a major storm event, but that's not what it's for. What it's for is we see storms like hurricanes coming, or we see a major rain event projected, and we think that there could be flooding exacerbated in an area because you've already received rain, your lakes are high. We give the notice to all the communities to open their operable gates to lower the level in your lakes. And that provides more space, more room in your lakes for stormwater. Then you have to close it. And then when the rain event comes, your other structure provides your level of flood protection. After the event, if your lakes are elevated and we see more storms coming, we'll once again send a notice out, open your gates, and bring your lakes back down to a pre-storm condition. So it adds another level of flood protection capacity that other communities in other areas don't have. And that's an example of water control structure. I won't go into details. It's kind of complicated. Every one of them is a little different. Yes, sir?
The prior slide, I know nothing about that in our community. I was on the board, never heard anything about that. How do we engage you guys to give us some education?
Really good question. It's coming up on hurricane season, as I mentioned. We have public meetings at our offices. See me afterwards. I'll give you my card. You can get on our list. And we have representatives that's open to the public that come. We go into a lot more detail in this as to actually how you can effectuate that operation.
Oh, just one thing, the questions, you can take it at the end, but if somebody does have a question, let me come over with the microphone so everybody can hear the question. Did everybody hear the question? Yes. Okay. Spoke back.
So, here we are prior to the storm season, which generally starts in June through November. We prepare 364 days a year for the one day that we might have a flood. And so our crews, we have 90 people work for the Lake Worth Drainage District. 60% of those are field operation people, heavy equipment, aquatics, vegetation people, and we're working every day to prepare for those storm events. Several days out from landfall of a named storm, we're watching the weather, we're obviously watching the forecast, and making adjustments in the system to prepare for that. About 48 to 72 hours from landfall, we suggest you do the same thing. You take a look at your system. All it takes is one palm frond to be over a storm drain, and that section of your community is going to flood. Everybody else could be fine, our canals could be clear, flowing, water's going out to tide, but your portion of the development would be flooded because the grades are obstructed. There's an example of a picture right there in the beginning that kind of shows you how easy it is for vegetation to kind of clog up a storm drain, particularly in a wind event like a hurricane. Around 24 to 36 hours before, the district will usually coordinate with the local entities for you to open your operable gates if we're in a position to accept that. Then we ask you to close them. And then throughout the storm, we're monitoring. And I'm going to take this opportunity to say, we have an emergency phone line. I can guarantee you when you call it, a person will not answer. Because there will be a lot of calls, and we only have a few people. Now, it's going to ask you to leave a message. Please leave a message. Because when you do, A dozen people in our organization are going to get a transcribed version of that message, and we get it on our cell phones. So probably within 5 minutes of you leaving a message, you've got half a dozen or a dozen people watching it and talking about what we need to do, and somebody will eventually get back to you and let you know what's going on. Obviously, we prioritize. If it's an emergency situation that we see developing, those come to the first of the list. If it's an issue that may be incidental, that's further down. But I want to emphasize that a lot of people get frustrated. Oh, I got an answer machine, click. We do listen to those messages and we get them pretty much immediately. So please be patient with us on that.
Can you tell us the emergency number so everybody can write it down?
I don't have it.
Oh, okay, well, we'll get it.
But just call our regular number and it'll move you into that.
The regular number, okay. And the regular number is, I'm sure you know that.
No way.
Okay.
The regular number is 561-498-5363. And when you get that, if you get a recording, they'll ask you, is it an emergency, et cetera, and they'll take you to the right place. So the system's designed to move a lot of water in a short period of time, but just like your roadway has only so many lanes, our canals only have so much hydraulic capacity. And there are rain events that can exceed the capacity of the system of your lakes, of your storm drain, of our canal, even South Florida's canal. They're rare, but they can happen. So we have a large quantity of rain in a short period of time. It could overwhelm the system. Just to give you an example of the kind of rain quantities that we look at and what the outcome may be. When you see afternoon thunderstorms, it's incidental. The water is going to move. It's going to move to your storm drains. It may move into our canal system, etc. If there are blockages in the system, you may see problems of extended duration. But if you see 5 to 6 inches of rainfall forecast in a 24-hour period, you can expect water is going to be standing in portions of your yard, near the ponds, in any swales or ditches. There may be water on the edge of the road. But generally it's passable and shouldn't create a problem. If you see anywhere between 7, 9 to 10 inches in a 24 to 3 day period, you can expect your residential lakes to be full to the brim, the community swells. Roads will be flooded slightly from anywhere from 6 inches to a foot. The ponds I mentioned will be full, but the finished floor, your homes, will be dry. You get in excess of that, there's very few systems in South Florida that are designed to handle 15 to 23 inches of rain. There could be homes flooded or businesses in low-lying areas under those conditions. So I wanted to give you an example of that. The photograph on the right, it's kind of hard to see, was taken at night. That's downtown Fort Lauderdale in 2023 when they had that large rain event that flooded the international airport. You probably all saw it on television. The picture on the left is a flood that would happen in 1947 in downtown Fort Lauderdale. They both look very similar. The difference that you can't tell from the photographs is the one in 47, water was like that for several days, almost a week. Low-lying areas out west of Fort Lauderdale had standing water for months. The outcome, and the whole southern end of the peninsula of South Florida was like that. And as a result, the state went to the federal government and requested that the federal government come in and build a flood control system. That's the system that we have today. The difference between the two in duration, the one on the right, that happened a few years ago, within less than 24 hours, that water was gone. So the peak stages don't change that much, but the durations change dramatically when you look at the flood control system that's in place today. We actually had a storm very similar to that in 2014, in January. You may remember it. It hit Kings Point. It was devastating. This little color graphic there shows the rainfall quantities, the depth of rainfall. And you'll see those white dots. Well, the reason those dots are white is because there was so much rain that the computer quit adding it up. it said I shouldn't be getting more than 15, 16 inches of rain. Well, they got 22 inches in 24 hours. 2 people perished, drowned in that storm event in and around Kings Point. So you had 2014, very heavy rain event in Fort Lauderdale, here in West Palm Beach County. In Fort Lauderdale, you had one like a year or so ago. So these happened, and both of these were not associated with a hurricane. There wasn't a named storm. There wasn't even a forecast that said you're going to get 22 inches of rain. So these things can happen. So therefore we have to be ready all the time to deal with the heavy rainfall and the flooding that can resort. When we have those kind of situations and you have flooding in your streets, it's really important for your safety to kind of stay put. One of the dangers that a lot of people don't recognize is that when the streets are flooded, you can't tell the difference between a road and a canal. And as horrible as it sounds, it frequently happens that people drive down the road and mistakenly drive into a canal. In fact, it happened in both of the events that I mentioned previously. Of course, down power lines, you could have potential where a stand-in water could provide an electrocution risk. And of course, stormwater can be unsanitary. So the saying, turn around, don't drown, please be aware of that. And just wait. The water, our systems are very effective, as I mentioned before, shortening the duration. So give it a chance for the water to come down. If you're in your house, you can't get out, do me a favor, don't call Uber to bring you a hamburger, because then he's got to come out and drive in the water. So those are kind of things that you don't normally think about, but here's the onset of the hurricane season, it's good to know. So I mentioned our phone number. We have a website, www.lwd.net. Go on the website, has all our information, contact information, etc. If it's life-threatening, please call your emergency responders. We are not emergency responders. We'd like to know. We appreciate you calling. But let us know what's going on in your community. Flooding, not flooding. It's information we can use to make decisions. So thank you very much. And I'll be happy to.
Wow, that was great. That was great. Maybe 1 or 2 questions if there are any. Otherwise, Tommy Stroud will stick around a little while maybe and answer some questions after. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're going to go into the next presentation. Yes. Yes. A really important question, yes. A statement. She wants to make a statement. She's the woman of statements, I know that. And I hold it so that you...
What's interesting to know that during that period you just discussed, some people thought they were very clever, went on the grass parts of the roads thinking they could pass the flood. They got stuck in there because the ground was so soft and wet. This car sunk into the lake. And then there was a job to get them out, and trees came down. It was like a nightmare.
We all lived through that, didn't we? Huh? Raise your hand if you lived through that. Yes, absolutely. Wow. Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Great. We have the best water management system here in our area here. Now, this is a super important thing that's going on with Palm Beach County Water Utilities Department. They are doing certain projects which to create sustainability of the county water utility system, and you're going to hear about those projects from Kristen Bernston, and she's the Deputy Director of Palm Beach County Water Utilities Department. Thank you for coming today.
Good morning, everybody. Let me just go to the presentation. So today for you today, I have a quick presentation followed by a video that we did to show you the project. Okay, there we go. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kristen Bernston. I am the Deputy Director of Palm Beach County Water Utilities, and wanted to come and talk to you guys for one of our legacy projects that we're working on, Green K Phase 2. as well as you heard me call RECAP, which is our Reclamation Education Center for Advanced Purification. I dare anyone to say that one 5 times fast. That is quite a tongue twister. So you'll just hear me refer to it as RECAP, just to keep it short and sweet and I don't get tongue-tied up here. So a brief overview of our utility. We are the local utility here. We do provide drinking water, so when you turn on your tap and you get that wonderful, awesome water, quality drinking water. We also take wastewater, so when you flush your toilets, take your shower, do your laundry, we collect that water, we bring it back to our wastewater facility and we treat it and have some other uses for it. One of those being reclaimed water. So you'll see some of the communities have the purple pipe. So we take the wastewater, we treat it to high-level standards that meet all Florida statutes and Florida standards, as well as EPA requirements, and then we put that back out to the golf courses or to residential lawns. So again, with the purple pipe, you don't use that for consumption, but it's safe to put on the lawns and to hydrate the plants. So a little information about us here at Palm Beach County Water Utilities. We are the 3rd largest utility in the state of Florida. We serve a little over 600,000 residents, mainly within unincorporated Palm Beach County, a few of the other municipalities, including you've got Westlake, Royal Palm, Green Acres, a few of the other line municipalities, but mainly an unincorporated area. And we do have about 600 employees here locally that serve all of the residents. So you can see, so our service area, so we do have 4 water treatment plants on the east, they're all interconnected. We do have 1 water treatment plant on the west that serves Belle Glade, South Bay, Pahokee. We also have 3 wastewater treatment plants. We also have shared storage service there with East Central Regional Water Reclamation Facility there in West Palm Beach. And then also with us, we have over 4,000 miles of pipe underground. So we've got water, we've got wastewater, and the reclaimed water. So that's enough if you laid it end to end that it could take you from here all the way to Anchorage, Alaska. So when you think about that, just within our service area, you know, we have over 4,000 miles of pipe. So that's a lot of pipe to maintain. We are still a relatively, you know, in terms of the younger utility, we're a little over 50 years old, so a lot of our assets are, you know, 50 years old or younger. So we're not to some of the places up north where they have to do a lot of the reinvestment yet in the utility, but we are getting that with some areas. So you'll be seeing us out in some of your neighborhoods maybe recently where we're redoing the pipes, making that so then that way there's no more issues, no breaks, no inconveniences or putting you out of service. So we can provide that best service as part of our motto. One of the other things that we're very proud of is that we are the first utility in North America to receive the ISO 55001 certification. So that we did it in-house. We had a consultant to help us, but mainly our staff did that. So we were able to maintain our assets so that way we can get a better life out of them, better efficiency. So what does that mean to you as our customers? Better quality of service and, you know, keep that lower cost. You know, I know that's a big factor for everyone. So we're very proud to be the first utility. We got that 3 years ago. We're coming up for our recertification this year, so we're very excited to maintain that certification. Again, like I mentioned, best value, right? This is something very important to all of our customers. So we're very proud to show that we have no water quality, excellent water quality with 0 violations, at least for the past 5 years. So every year in June or July, we post our consumer confidence report that's emailed in your bill insert. You can go on there and check it out. We can provide it. It's on our website at any time, but we're very proud that we have no violations. Also, we are an enterprise fund. So what does that mean? Is that the money that we receive from our customers, we take that money and reinvest back in the utility. So we are no ad valorem, so no taxpayer money goes to fund us. We all are self-funded by the money that we receive from our customers. And also with that, our bill is about 29% below the state average. So again, going back to us getting the asset management and the certifications and with our efficiency, we can be able to pass those savings along to our customers. So where do we get our water? So our water supply, as you can see here, this is a really great graphic that we found here. So our groundwater supply comes from the Biscayne Aquifer or the superficial aquifer. So you kind of see in that top layer, it's a light blue. Our wells at that level about 120 to 140 feet in depth. So we take the water out, we treat it at the water treatment plant, again meeting all the state, local, and national standards, and then we distribute it out to the customers. One of the other things that we also have done is alternative water supply. So with that being the Floridan Aquifer, so you can see kind of down at the bottom of the screen that darker area. We do have some wells down there that are about 1,400 feet deep. That water down there is a little more salty, a little more, got salt, brackish, a little more salt to it. So we do have a reverse osmosis treatment that takes and gets rid of the salt. So it's a little bit, you gotta do a little more treatment to be able to get that water perfect in drinking water conditions. And the other thing we do is reclaimed water. It's another alternative water supply that we do. So to highlight some of the alternative water supply, again, reclaimed water, we have over 55 million gallons per day capacity that we can put out for reclaimed water. And some of the uses are our constructed wetlands. We have, out to the golf courses, some of the homeowners associations, some businesses, as well as to Florida Power and Light. We do have up to 22 million gallons per day. You can go to the West County Energy Center. So they're using the reclaimed water as cooling water. So then that way they aren't pulling water out of the lake or canal system, they're able to use our reclaimed water. So it's an extra beneficial use of, instead of the water being wasted, we have an extra good use for that. Our reuse program started in the 1990s, and we are one of the largest in the state. So we're very proud of that, of all the work that we've done, and had a lot of the local community be able to support of that. And then, like I mentioned before, with the Floridan wells, so again, those ones were really deep, about 1,400 feet. So we have 11 wells that serve the plant out in Belle Glade, as well as we have 2 wells here in the eastern system to be able to use as needed. So again, with that reclaimed water, like I had mentioned, we're able to use it for the constructed wetlands. So we do take our Southern Region Water Reclamation Facility here that's shown. We get the wastewater that comes from your house, that comes through the pipes and the pump stations into our treatment plant. We treat it, and then we'd be able to turn it around and have a beneficial use. So some that goes to Green Cave Phase 1 or Wakota-Hatchie wetlands, both are constructed wetlands that we constructed back in the 1990s, very popular. And then that way it also creates an ecosystem and a birding habitat for the wildlife. So a couple more times. By a show of hands, how many have been to Wakota-Hatchie or Green Cave, right? Awesome here, they're free. I think we've kind of missed the birding season right now, but I know around spring you can go there and you see all the nesting birds, and it's so awesome to see. So I highly recommend those that haven't gone to visit. But again, this was one of the ones that we did create back in the 90s, was Green Cave and Wakota-Hatchie wetlands, and they take about up to 5 million gallons per water per day. With that, it also helps, again, act as a natural system. So we've created the wetlands prior to from the pepper farms. So we have about 1 million visitors per year. And then also when you go there, there's about 3.5 miles of raised boardwalks. Just because of the reclaimed water, again, we don't want people to touch with that. So that's why we have the elevated boardwalks at both facilities. So on to the Phase 2, right? We've done Phase 1, we've had Green Cave Phase 1 as well as Wakota-Hatchie, so we've been able to show the proof of concept has been there. They've been very well received from the public. So, here we are, we're going to move on to the next phase. So that will be Green Cave Phase 2. So you can kind of see here, so we'll kind of step, so all the way on the left there, that's the Florida's Turnpike. Bubble 1 there, you can kind of see that's our Southern Region Water Reclamation Facility, so that's where all the wastewater is received. It will be treated, and that's where we have our reclaimed water. So bubble 2 there, excuse me, in the green, that will be our new purification, our water purification facility, as well as the RECAP Center, which RECAP will pretty much be our education facility. So it will be co-located there on site, on our property. As we keep moving east, bubble 3, that's Green Cave Phase 1, and then you can kind of see there laid out is our proposed Green Cave Park. That will be this new 63-acre park that we're doing as part of this project. And then kind of when you step further east, 5 and 6, that's our water treatment plant 3. That's right there, and as well as bubble 6 will be our Wakota-Hatchie wetlands. So what we're doing here with Green Cave Phase 2 is we'll be taking the reclaimed water and treating it to drinking water quality standards, and then we'll be putting it into the lakes there at the Green Cave Park at bubble 4, and then being able to have that recharge the system, and then be able to pull that out. So again, we're creating that continuous, like a new water cycle for us. So instead of the water being, wasted, we're able to take a use and be able to have it to treat it to drinking water standards, and then have it for use for for our wells, and to help recharge the local aquifers. So we're very excited for this project. So here's some of the treatments. So again, we'll be taking the reclaimed water from Southern Region Water Reclamation Facility. We'll be putting it through several treatment processes. That will be ultrafiltration, where we'll remove anything that might be in the water. The reverse osmosis, they're going to get us through high membrane treatment. So that way, pretty much the only thing that comes out is pure water. And then we'll do some ultraviolet and advanced oxidation, just some further treatment. Then that way there's no issue. So again, so pretty much what you kind of see here, this is like what they do at NASA when they send the astronauts up to the air, because obviously they don't have water, sources there. So that's kind of the same thing that they do up there on the spaceship, space shuttle, and all that. So what we're kind of doing here is we're just mimicking Mother Nature's process. We're just helping to speed it up a little bit, because normally that would take a long time. You get the water to come back. It would take a while to percolate, come back down into the ground, and then we could pull it out with our wells. This time we're just helping, speed up Mother Nature. And with that, again, you'll have this highly purified drinking water that will be crystal clear like spring-like water. So this is just kind of a rendering of our water purification facility. So this will be open to the public, student tours and all that. You'll be able to come in. So you'll be able to come in and you can see here where we have some of our, the large racks there of our membranes, and that's where the water will be going through the reverse osmosis. So what comes out of it is very, again, pure quality drinking water. And then we'll also have some of the chemical storage. So that's just kind of a peek through of looking inside of our facility. And then again, here's the recap. So here will be our education center. This is what we're super excited for. One of the first in the area, and especially this area and in the state. So we're going to, it'll be co-located on our site there. Half will be the education center, and then towards the back will be that purification facility like I just showed in the prior slide. So we'll be able to have tours. We're working with the school district right now to be able to have the curriculum, so that way all probably 3rd or 4th grade students will be coming to our facility, and it'll be enriched in the curriculum, so that way the kids learn about it in the classroom, then they're able to come here and see it in real life and action. And then we also have a couple classrooms on site here where they can do different lab tests and all that. So we're super excited to be able to work with the school district to be able to have this as an amenity to introduce kids to, hey, this technology is right here. You can go away to school and come back and work right here. And that way we can also secure our next round of engineers, scientists, operators, so that way we can, have the next generation have them right here. So this slide just kind of shows a little bit of the exhibits, what we're going to have. Again, we're going to be showing the community and students of, the water cycle, how our water is processed, what our treatment will be doing back behind the scene there at the advanced purification facility. So these are just kind of those color schemes, also kind of show them what the aquifer does, what the water does, and how it moves under there. Just that way to help educate them and make everyone aware of, how our local natural system works. And then as part of this, we are doing the Green Cay Park, which will be a 63-acre park. Again, Green Cay Phase 1 will be just to the west, and this will be to the east. So you can see kind of in the left picture, sorry for the rotation there, Flavor Picked is kind of towards the north. So we'll have a parking lot, and you'll see there, those are kind of the constructed lakes. So as you see the nice crystal clear blue-like water, that will be our purified water that will be treated from southern region. It will be delivered over here. So you have nice crystal clear spring-like water for amenities there around the park. One of the other things, like I mentioned before, at Green Cay Phase 1 over Cotahatchee, you have the elevated boardwalk, so you can't really interact with the water too much, just with the level of the treatment. So this one being more advanced, we're able to allow it for more recreational opportunities. So as you're walking here, the grades, the sidewalk will be at grade, so you kind of be walking right next to the water, like maybe some of you do at your lakes around the community. It'll also allow the extra recreational opportunities, kayaking, canoeing, paddleboarding, those kind of things. So some extra passive recreational opportunities will be coming to this site, so we'll be able to allow that. And then you can kind of see, we also have some standard.
What's the timetable for all this?
It'll be by end of 2026. I got that at the end, don't worry. It's coming. We've been planning for a couple of years for this, and we're very excited to get it here. So also, standard park amenities. You do have some pavilions, some playground area, and the theme of this will be that once the students go to the education center, and then they can come here, and there's still some more of that education and tying the two places together. So there'll be that cohesive theme of learning about the water cycle and how we're treating the water. So some of our core project messaging, again, we're doing the water supply, we're doing the aquifer recharge with the purified water that we're having, so sustainable water resource that we will have, so we'll be extra, resistance for droughts and all that. also to help replenish the groundwater, and so then we can also be the leader, so that we're one of the first in the state to be doing this. We were one of the first ones to actually get our piloting done. A couple others up in Jacksonville, and I believe Tampa, have done some piloting. We've got ours piloted. Proof of concept was accepted by FDEP, Florida Department of Environmental Protection. We've got our draft permit in hand, so we're ready to go to be one of the first ones in the state to launch this project. And then, like I mentioned again, the education. So we want to educate our local students, let them know that this technology is here in this area, then also to educate the rest of the public, so that way it's open to everyone to be able to come and see. So we've had a lot of public outreach over this project for the last couple of years that we've been working on it, especially more recently over the last year or so. The Palm Beach Post has had some articles, we've done tours through the legislative delegation, our advisory board. We've also done outreach presentations such as this one. I think we've been to the Alliance before, as well as Cobra and some of the other local homeowners associations that are close to the project location. So the project scope. So again, so our pre-construction services, so that was design and permitting, that was about a $9.5 million cost. Our phase 2, which is our construction cost right now, we're looking at about $89.6 million for that. And with that, we've been able to secure funding from several partners. So we had $3 million given from the state appropriation from the Florida legislature last year, which we're very happy. Representative Skidmore was one of the ones that was very instrumental in getting us that. Also, South Florida Water Management District, they've awarded us $8 million in funding to help with this project, and we're very happy for that partnership. And then also through ARPA, we had $10.5 million. So we've gotten a little over 21.5, or about 20% of the project has been received from grant funding from outside, and we're still actively seeking some more. So there's still a couple more opportunities for us to get some additional funding, which, trust me, we will be going after. So the phase 2, what we've got left, we just finished up final design. We've got construction and construction management will be happening over the next 2 years. And then later on, we'll have some startup and commissioning, obviously, because we have to start up the treatment plant and all that and get our staff trained for that. So with the planning for the project schedule, we finished our design in December. The board awarded the contract in December 19th of 2023 as well. We had our ceremonial groundbreaking in March, and we're expecting to open to the public in August, September of 2026. So, very exciting.
Wow, that is so exciting. Yes.
I've got 1 minute for the couple minutes for the video.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you just.
It's kind of just to touch on what I just talked about, but you'll see it in a whole new way.
Great, great.
Water is deep. Land is ocean. Well, scientifically, water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. There's thousands from the natural earth. Water towers.
Walmart.
We drink water. We shower with water. We take a bath with water. We water the plant. You need it to survive. Animals need clean water. I'd say water is the most important because it holds up all the other living things.
For most living things on Earth, any living organism to survive, they need water. They depend on water, so it's very important to everyday life.
.75% of the planet is water.
It to drink, wash clothes, wash cars, cook food. action would be to, first to educate the public, starting with kids, because I think if people would realize how much that we depend on water and everything depends on water to live, it would kind of put more importance around preserving water.
What a great video. Thank you so much for that. Do you know that Palm Beach County, there was governmental engineers from all over the world come to Palm Beach County to see the regeneration plant of the Solid Waste Authority. And I'm sure they'll be making a side trip for this in the future. This is excellent. Thank you so much for attending. We still have Tommy Stroud here, and Kristen will stay here for a few minutes. If anybody has any questions about their water flow, their weirs, or the drainage, or our water, remember, don't come here the first week of June, because our June breakfast is the 21st. You'll be receiving the invitation in the mail next week. Remember, you need to respond, and that response is to me on my cell phone or email. And remember that July 3rd is going to be an exciting meeting, right? July 3rd. Remember, we have our candidates coming, and we're going to have a pre-July 4th celebration with lots of giveaways, okay? Have a terrific month, and we'll see you at the breakfast, all our delegates, alternates, and presidents.